Good morning, everybody. Just testing the mic out real quick to see if it sounds okay. Let me make sure real quick before I go forward here. All right, it sounds good on my end. Hopefully, it sounds good on your end too. So, good morning, everybody. I hope all is well. Zach here with another morning video. So, take a look at this, folks. So, right here, unfortunately, today we have yet another bimodal moderate risk day today. This, unfortunately, looks eerily similar to the events that took place on Friday, March 31st, when we had two regions of moderate to high potential risk. It definitely looks like we're going to have that once again. So basically, we had one in Iowa, Illinois, Missouri region, and one further south across portions of Arkansas down through the southeastern United States. This is very similar to what we can expect today. We definitely have a bimodal moderate risk event taking shape once again, issued from the Storm Prediction Center. One will be taking shape across eastern Iowa, northeastern Missouri, extreme portions of northeastern Missouri, northwestern Illinois as well, even into extreme portions of southwestern Wisconsin here. We also have the second one. So this is bimodal. So we have one mode to the north, one mode to the south here. This one will be stretching from south central Missouri down through central and western Arkansas and down through portions of extreme eastern Oklahoma as well. So unfortunately, I can definitely see another severe weather outbreak unfolding today with all hazards possible, with some being actually very significant. So it's definitely not going to be it's definitely not going to be a good day in terms of severe weather once again. We also have that big time tornado threat, so let me switch that over here. We can look at 4-panel, but I'd rather zoom in here. So we have that big time tornado threat with significant hatched area as well. The tornadoes that form within this region can be extremely strong and potentially have the ability to become long track tornadoes as well. So we definitely have to watch this very carefully as we head into tonight, for sure, this afternoon, and into the evening and overnight hours tonight. The damaging wind threat, so let's switch over to the wind as well. Take a look at that. It's very broad here. It's definitely going to be in play over a broad area as well. So you can definitely see this stretches from southern Wisconsin all the way down into southeastern and eastern Oklahoma through Arkansas as well. And if we switch over to the hail, it's definitely going to be crazy here. The greatest threat for large hail exists in the northern mode, stretching from across north central Missouri to east and southeastern Iowa here, and into western and northwestern Illinois, and even into portions of extreme southern Wisconsin here. And this hatched area goes all the way down through Texas, so we can see some gorilla hail today. So we were talking about golf ball size. Most likely it's going to be about quarter size to ping pong size here. But unfortunately, there's going to be some incidences of reports of golf ball size and possibly even some baseball size hail today. So that's definitely not good for sure. So let's actually switch over to the current water vapor imagery. So let me go to the upper level water vapor here. So yeah, it's definitely showing on screen. But take a look at this, guys. It's definitely pretty crazy. We can definitely see plain as day this massive trough here, which is our main character for today's event. This looks very similar to last Friday's event. So this is becoming a closed circulation here in the upper levels, and it will actually eject off to the northeast here. So let's go to, very curious here, let's actually go to the upper air analysis. Let's go to 500 millibar analysis, and let's actually brighten these colors up a little bit here, folks. I could probably zoom in a little bit, that way we can see what's going on here. But yeah, so translating this data into the 500 millibar analysis, you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about here. We can see this massive high amplitude trough digging down in the southwestern United States. This will continue to be the case, becoming more closed off here as it ejects to the northeast. So it's definitely pretty interesting to see here, guys. It's definitely a very strong system for sure. Let's take a look at the surface here. We could probably see, there we go. It's probably better there. So as this system closes off, a wider belt of stronger flow will be surrounding this base here. This trough is still attempting to mature slightly as the flow rounds the base of the trough here. However, it's definitely becoming to take on more of a negative tilt as this flow rounds the base. So let's go back to 500 millibar here. You can definitely see it's starting to become more negatively tilted here. But unfortunately, we have a plethora of southwesterly flow can definitely be observed here. And in response to this, a very strong surface low has developed. You can definitely see it here, just right over the New Mexico-Colorado border here. So it's definitely pretty crazy. This will continue to tightly wrap and deepen slightly as this ejects off to the northeast, heading into the Nebraska vicinity later on today. We can also see the warm frontal zone here, so stretching in from this pressure nose leading to the surface low itself. So you can see this warm sector and this warm frontal zone that's actually developing here. And this is actually going to shift a bit as we head throughout the day today as well. And since there exists strong flow, a massive warm sector has developed, as I just said. This will allow for more area for storms to dominate in today, which is never a good sign in these high-degree kinematic systems. You can definitely see this warm sector definitely coming in across portions of the Texas here and the southeast as well, stretching all the way up into southern Missouri, definitely up here into Illinois and Iowa as well. So that's definitely pretty crazy. So let's take a look at the 850 millibar analysis here. So that's definitely pretty crazy. We should definitely see a strong low-level jet forming, and that's exactly what we see here. So it's definitely pretty crazy. Let me go here. There we go. Put the colors on here. So you can see those strong values of the low-level jet here. It's definitely pretty crazy as we're heading in later in the day. This is definitely going to continue. This disturbance will continue to eject off to the northeast here, and it's going to consolidate as it does so. And even more strong broad flow will appear in the form of low-level jet associated with this particular system. This will, in response, increase low-level moist air advection into the warm sector, as well as increasing the low-level shear across this region. So some extreme high-end kinematic profiles will begin to take shape today for sure, as this system will have no problem in generating the ingredients necessary to produce a significant severe weather outbreak today. And we can go into surface observations as well. Let me see here. Let's actually go down. That'll work. Yeah, this should work, I believe. Let's see here. I definitely want... bear with me, folks. Let me actually get this going here. It's okay. Let me see if I can get this to pop up. Definitely want to see these temperatures and dew points as well. Well, we'll go to surface observations. There we go. All right, so taking a look at the surface observation across Texas and the deep south here, we can see this nice dry line taking shape here. Take a look at this, folks. It's definitely pretty crazy. With some dew points existing in the teens here. So we have 14 degrees here. So these green numbers here represent the dew point. The red numbers on top represent the temperature. But take a look at this dew point. 14, we have 32. Up here we have 5 degrees for the dew point, and even some negative values showing up. -1 and -3 dew points definitely showing up. This is a representation of extremely dry air towards the west. We also have very moist air east of the dry line as well, with dew points in the 60s and 70s across much of Texas. This actually translates all the way to the northeast through Arkansas, even down into Missouri, Tennessee as well, even into Kentucky and Illinois. So we can definitely see these dew points stretching all the way off to the northeast there. The low-level jet is definitely aiding in the spreading of these dew points to the north, even into the Missouri boot heel as well. So a broad warm sector certainly exists south of the warm frontal zone, which the warm frontal zone would be a little bit to the north here, just above where the actual map is. So continued cyclogenesis will continue throughout the day as this system ejects off to the northeast, and very high dew points definitely exist at the surface, as you can see here with the green numbers here. So you can see some of these dew points approaching the lower 70s here, some in the mid 70s as well, down into southern Texas, where we have a dew point of 74 degrees, and even over here towards the New Orleans area, we have 70-degree dew points, 73-degree dew points. This actually all extends all the way through Mississippi here, Alabama, Tennessee in the 60s here. It's actually kind of rare that we don't have any 50-degree dew points up here. Well, there's one in Kentucky, but for the most part, everywhere else is in the 60s and 70s, so it's definitely very strong. Some uncertainty still exists with this setup, though. One of these is actually going to be the dry air intrusions. Let's actually take a look at this. Let's look at the mid-level water vapor here. So it's definitely very, very interesting. So the colors that represent moist air would be the whites, the blues as well, and the greens here. So you can see this particular down through Mexico, stretching across Texas here, and even up here to the north as well. And the colors that represent the dry air are the yellows and oranges showing up here. And unfortunately, we have a very expansive plume of dry air across the central United States here, and then eventually also extending down into the southeast here as well, and almost forming into the Ohio Valley, so it's definitely pretty interesting. This is going to continue to eject off to the northeast slightly. Just to, out of curiosity, definitely want to take a look at some of the sounding data from Norman. So let's take a look at this. This is from 0Z, so this was about 8 p.m. last night. I'm not sure if we have updated. Let me see here. Yeah, unfortunately, that looks like it's the most up-to-date sounding. But take a look at this, guys. So the sounding data from Norman, Oklahoma, we can definitely see that dry air aloft for sure. Take a look at this. It's very, very dry at the surface as well. We have 44-degree dew points in Norman over a 86-degree temperature, so that's definitely very dry conditions. This dry air will continue to propagate across the warm sector today, which leads to concern since dry air can have major impacts on thunderstorms, especially thunderstorm lifetime and thunderstorm intensity or robustness as well. Let's go down to the Dallas-Fort Worth area just to get a sort of an idea. So down here in Dallas, we can see we have a bit more moisture in the lower levels, but we do have this pocket of dry air in the mid-levels as well. So that's definitely very interesting. This could definitely lead to damaging wind events, I should say. Let's actually check southern Texas here, down near the Brownsville area. We can see a shallow layer of moisture here, basically up to almost 1 kilometer, with not much dry air aloft, but we do have that strong elevated mixed layer definitely coming in here. This actually originates from Mexico, the Mexican plateau, as it propagates across the warm sector on top of the moisture layer. As we know, the EML can allow instability to build, and as the cloud layer is carved out. The moisture quality, however, looking at the surface dew points, so you can see there's pretty good moisture quality down here in southern Texas. We have 83 over 72. But if we go back to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we have 91 over 62. It's pretty good. But in Norman, Oklahoma here, it's 86 over 44. So the moisture quality really isn't there, at least up to the north here. We can definitely go into Springfield, Illinois here. Springfield, Missouri, I should say. 85 over 44. So we still see all that dry air here. So it's definitely interesting. We can go into Illinois as well. We definitely have a little bit more moisture here, 75 over 57. You can definitely see there's a little bit of dry air in the mid-levels here, but it's definitely pretty crazy. So Dallas-Fort Worth, we have that 91 over 62, and then over in Shreveport, we have 84 over 68, so that's pretty good there, but we do have that dry air in the mid-levels here, so it's definitely pretty crazy. But moisture is only a portion of the overall picture, folks. So let's take a look at Dallas once again. So we still have that dry air aloft to deal with. We will continue to see this dry air initially, and this will have an impact on storm intensity today. Since dry air can entrain into the updrafts of thunderstorms, it can have a negative overall effect on the thunderstorm itself. So as air rises, we want the updraft to be fed with warm, moist air. However, if dry air exists aloft, the dry air will also be ingested into the updraft of the storm and choke off the updraft, which may cause a collapse of the storm itself. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this dry air aloft today as storms begin to fire. Dry air may also lead to what is known as evaporative cooling through downdraft elements. If dry air is ingested by the storm's updraft, we can still see fully realized storms. However, if the dry air continues to be ingested by that particular storm, it will be pushed downward, evaporating the storm's precipitation, strengthening the downdraft itself, resulting in the production of a plethora of outflow from storms. So storms are going to become outflow dominant. So this is definitely going to be something to keep an eye on for sure as we head further into the day. Last week's event on Friday, however, did not have this issue regarding dry air intrusions, and that's why last Friday's event was so strong. But we do see some steady moistening in the soundings, which is good news for storms. But man, the downburst and outflow dominant storms today may cause some issues with storm intensity and overall lifespan of the storms themselves. So it's definitely pretty interesting. So let's flip over to the College of DuPage meteorology site here. Let's take a look at some of the model data here. We can definitely see what's going on. As we step forward a little bit here, we can definitely see some storms firing off to the north. This is going to be around 10Z. So basically this is going to be right around 7 a.m. So that's going to happen in about 30 minutes here. But take a look at this, guys. We definitely have some stronger storms definitely developing there. And as we head into 13Z, which is right around the 10 a.m. hour, we can definitely see a little bit of sort of maybe a discrete supercell forming here into northeastern Missouri here, but overall it's pretty quiet, except when you get into Indiana. We definitely have some heavier super showers developing there, but pretty quiet across much of the area here. And it's not really gets going until we see some of these prefrontal confluence bands and maybe some gravity waves disturbing the area here within Arkansas, eastern Oklahoma as well, and even southern Missouri. This is right around the 18Z hour, so this is going to be right around 3 p.m. today. Do have a little bit of disturbance here, down here in south central Texas here. As we step forward, we can see some of the storms actually starting to fire down to the southeast of Shreveport, right around 20Z. This is going to be right around 5 p.m. tonight. A little bit of storms as well firing across the Louisiana-Arkansas border, and even some developing into northeastern Arkansas as well, right around the 5 p.m. hour. So we step this forward, we do have some intensity developing here into northeastern Louisiana. This is around 21Z, so this is about 6 p.m. tonight. This actually stretches all the way across into Magnolia, Arkansas, and a little bit points north as well. But it's not really until later in the day and later on this evening that we actually get some stronger storms developing here in central and western Arkansas. This is around 23Z. So we're looking at about 8 p.m. tonight. So it's definitely pretty late in the day that these storms actually get firing. And we can actually see that the stronger storms actually start developing around 7Z. So unfortunately, this is around 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. So you can definitely see how strong these storms actually are going to develop here, especially through Missouri and even into portions of Kansas here. Eventually right along the Oklahoma and Arkansas border, and as well as through northwestern Arkansas and southwestern Missouri here. We have this squall line or QLCS developing across Missouri as well, across western Missouri. And we do have another band of storms developing across central and southern Illinois down into the boot heel of Missouri as well. This is around 8Z, so we're looking at about it's about 5 a.m. here. Do have a little bit of showers and storms developing across south central Texas as well. So this is right around the 5 a.m. hour as well. If we step this forward, though, we could definitely see storms explode across northeastern Texas, southeastern Oklahoma, and across western Arkansas. So this is right around 9Z. So this is around 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. So you can definitely see this is going to be an interesting event for tomorrow morning's commute as well. This is even stretches all the way into southern Missouri here and even up into Illinois. We can track this activity a little bit further. And it's definitely going to be a stronger squall line event, definitely developing to the north of the Little Rock area. This is right around 11Z. This is going to be right around 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. This stretches all the way down basically through eastern Texas here. This is through 8 a.m. But if we actually go step this forward, we can sort of see stronger storms here, especially maybe big time hailers here in eastern Texas, stretching all the way up through Arkansas and even into the Missouri border here. This is right around 12Z, so this is going to be right around 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. And stepping this forward, we can definitely see the stronger cells even developing tomorrow around 18Z. So around 3 p.m. tomorrow as well, heading into Tennessee, Kentucky, even into southern Illinois here. And this stretches all the way down through the Houston area, all the way down to the San Antonio area as well. And unfortunately, this really gets its act together tomorrow around 20Z. So we're looking at about 5 p.m. tomorrow. But take a look at this. It's definitely going to be pretty interesting, especially in the Kentucky area here. So it stretches all the way down, where we can have a few supercells embedded sort of in this linear element, especially into southeastern Arkansas, heading into northwestern Mississippi here. It's definitely going to be a very interesting event tomorrow. And this just continues throughout the day. And another storm system comes through and definitely blows up, creates a linear structure stretching from Kentucky all the way down to southern Texas here. This is 6Z on Thursday. So we're looking at about 3 a.m. on Thursday. But it's definitely pretty interesting. So let's definitely take a look at some of the convective elements here as well. Let's take a look at the surface-based cape. You can see some of these values coming in as well. We're looking at about 3,000 joules per kilogram right along the Red River here down through central Texas here. So it's definitely pretty crazy. And especially up here into western Missouri, this is right around 21Z. This is going to be right around 6 p.m. later on tonight. So it's definitely pretty crazy to witness. And as we step this forward a little bit, the cape values do decrease, except they start blowing up again around 8Z. This is going to be around 5 a.m. This is going to be in the Oklahoma area. So southeastern Oklahoma and central Oklahoma, stretching down to northeastern Texas, where we can see cape values of 3,500 joules per kilogram. So it's definitely a very buoyant atmosphere. And this actually translates off to the northeast as well. And it definitely looks like around 23Z on Wednesday, which would be right around 8 p.m. on Wednesday. You can definitely see some values approaching 4,000 joules per kilogram along the Louisiana-Mississippi border here. So we're going to have to be very wary of some of these thunderstorms that do develop in these environments. Let's take a look at the supercell composite here. So you can definitely see some of these values are going to increase very rapidly as we head into 2Z on Wednesday. This is going to be right around 11 p.m. But we have supercell composites of 12, 13, and even up to 17. So that's very strong. And this actually continues all the way through about 12Z on Wednesday. So we're taking a look at 9 a.m. on Wednesday. So it's definitely pretty crazy here, folks. Significant tornado parameter as well. We're going to have significant tornado parameters of about 8 to 9. So this is very, very high, unfortunately. This is going to be right around the 6Z Wednesday hour. This is going to be right around 3 a.m. But take a look at this, guys. It's definitely very strong, significant tornado parameters. Once we get into the 8, 9, and the 10 range, it's definitely going to be very interesting. And even we have values ranging at the actual 10 mark, even above that into 11. So we're definitely going to have very, very strong possibility of violent to long track tornadoes here, right across from in western Missouri here, down through eastern Oklahoma, northeastern Oklahoma, down through southwestern Missouri as well later on tonight. And this actually translates east and northeast into the Illinois area and eastern Missouri, where we have values of 8+. So it's definitely going to be very interesting. This is 12Z. So this will be 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. So it's definitely going to be a very interesting night. And tomorrow morning as well is going to be very, very interesting as well. We can definitely take a look at the lightning density, where we can see some of these storms are going to develop here, especially southeastern Oklahoma heading into western Arkansas here. So it's definitely pretty interesting. We can see 13 flashes about every 5. Well, I'd say it's going to be probably more than that. 13 flashes per kilometer per 5 minutes. So it's definitely pretty good there. That's actually going to be right around 9Z Wednesday. So it's going to be right around 6 a.m. in southeastern Oklahoma. So some of these storms for the morning commute may be pretty strong for sure. Into northeastern Texas, southeastern Oklahoma as well. Even into western Arkansas, and even up here through central Missouri and southern Missouri and central Illinois as well. right around the 6 a.m. hour. So it's definitely going to be waking some people up for sure. Make sure you guys have your cell phones charged. Definitely have them ready. Get your emergency preparedness kits ready as well, just in case if severe weather strikes your area. You definitely want to be definitely ready for some of these storms as well. It's going to be very, very strong storms, especially between the 4 p.m. and 11 p.m. hour tonight, and even into the overnight hours into tomorrow morning as well, where we can see even stronger storms. So we're going to have to be on the lookout for some of these. Let's take a look at some of these SRH values. So storm relative helicity. So it's definitely pretty interesting. Let's head into 6Z Wednesday. This is 3 a.m. We have SRH values eclipsing the 400, almost 450 range here. So that's definitely very, very strong, especially here into across much of Missouri here. If we step this forward a little bit as well, we get even stronger returns. This is 9Z tomorrow. This is 6 a.m. tomorrow. We could definitely have SRH values eclipsing 500 here into Illinois as well, and even down here across southern Arkansas and northwestern Louisiana. So definitely please be on the lookout if you guys live in these areas. It's definitely going to be a very, very intense situation for sure, where we have that bimodal threat of moderate risk. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a high, sort of a high threat, definitely increase from the moderate risk here across northeastern and eastern Missouri into western Illinois as well, and even down here into southern Arkansas and northwestern Louisiana as well. So it's definitely very interesting, guys. So definitely please be on the lookout for some of these storms that do develop. Could get over an inch of rain here in western Arkansas, all the way through north central Arkansas as well, and even pockets of heavier rain up to an inch or so right along the Missouri-Illinois border here as well, even down into south central Missouri. So definitely please be on the lookout for some of this. If you do encounter flooded roadways, please turn around, don't drown. Your life is way more important than where you're going, guys. So yeah, definitely, it's definitely be pretty crazy. But take a look at some of these dew points as well, especially these that propagate up to the north here. This is definitely where the severe weather elements are going to come in play, right around 4Z Wednesday. So we're looking at about 5 a.m. But we definitely have 70-degree dew points, and these do propagate all the way into northeastern Texas. And some of these dew points here in the 68 range, I can definitely see some 70s being squeezed out here in Arkansas, and all the way up through southern Missouri here, where we can actually reach 70-degree for the dew points. It's definitely be very interesting. Let's take a look at some of these wind gusts as well. We're definitely going to have gusty winds across the panhandle of Texas here, all the way down through New Mexico and even into northern New Mexico, where we can have wind gusts up to 68 knots. So it's definitely pretty crazy. So if you want to convert the knots into miles per hour, just multiply the knots by 1.15. 68 knots is about 80 mile per hour wind gusts here. In the panhandle of Texas, we're looking at about 53 knots. So that's about 60 miles per hour. Even here into eastern New Mexico here, we're at 51 knots. It's about 58 miles per hour. So definitely some severe winds definitely coming in for you guys. And as this trough definitely translates to the northeast, we're going to have some of these higher totals coming in here into south central Illinois as well, where we can definitely see right around 60 knots for the wind speed here for some wind gusts. It's about 69 to 70 miles per hour. So definitely be on the lookout for some power outages, guys. It's definitely going to be pretty crazy as we get into later on tonight and into tomorrow, folks. So definitely be on the lookout. Let me see here, see if I have anything else to share here. I believe, there we go. That's what I wanted to show. So right around 7 p.m. tonight, the HRRR model is definitely picking up on some strong storms here near Iowa City, unfortunately, once again, and down through Davenport, up through Cedar Rapids, and Creston, Des Moines, Ames as well. But let's take a look at some of these forecast soundings. So that's definitely pretty intense, guys. Very, very intense. You can definitely see. So if you draw a line right across here, you know what? I could probably pull this up. Let me see here. Let me see if I can actually get this to actually work here. Definitely very curious. Let's see here. try to get PowerPoint to open up here. Let's see here. Just so that way I can draw on the screen. I definitely want to take a screenshot of this really quickly. So let's move PowerPoint to where we can see it here. Okay, it should show up on screen fairly well. And let's actually copy this image here. So this is right around, this is to the south of Iowa City and Davenport, to the north of Burlington here. Where we can see these forecast soundings are definitely pretty strong here, unfortunately. Yeah, I can check on Lincoln, Nebraska here in just a moment. Just want to show you guys something here. So let's see if we can get this to work out. There we go. Let's paste that in there. Let's actually take a look at the hodograph here. Whoops. There we go. Let's actually zoom in on the hodograph here, just to show you guys. Zoom in a little bit further. I want to take a look at the crosswise and streamwise vorticity here. So that's basically, let's draw right here. So we draw an arrow from the right moving cell there. And we always draw the wind vector parallel to the hodograph. And then the actual, we can check for streamwise and crosswise vorticity. That's always, whoops, wrong way. There we go. It's always right out. It's normal to the actual hodograph there. So this is almost streamwise. So if these two would look like this, that would be purely streamwise. So there's a little bit of crosswise vorticity there at the surface. So that's definitely good. We do have some streamwise vorticity there, which is definitely, it's almost pure actually. So that's definitely very good for tornadoes. Let's actually check the 1 kilometer here. So we draw this arrow from the right moving bunker here. We always draw the wind vector here, so we can take a look at that. And it's always normal. So we definitely have a lot of streamwise vorticity here. And that is actually very indicative to tornado development here. And that's exactly why the possible hazard type is tornado. You can even see the storm slinky here as well, giving an indication of sort of a hook echo shape as well. We do have some monster hail possibly forming, possibly up to 2 3/4 inches. That's definitely very intense. Supercell composite may be up to about 20. But you can definitely see that curvature from 0 to 1 kilometer. So it's definitely very interesting. So you're talking about Lincoln, Nebraska. Yeah, we can definitely take a look at that for you. Whoops. Go to Nebraska. Let me do that right. Let's see here. Alright, so we're looking good all the way through 8 a.m. today. Let me see if the newer model actually is fully realized. There we go. So let's see here. So let's go down through 6 p.m. It looks pretty good through at least the models here for Lincoln, Nebraska, all the way through 11 p.m. I'm just very curious to see what your sounding looks like here. So you guys are going down to about 38 degrees tonight around 11. Let's actually go to about 5 p.m. 73 with a 38 degree dew point. It's not looking good for severe weather, I would say. It definitely looks like you guys are going to avoid the severe weather in Lincoln, Nebraska today for sure. Just based upon the model data here. Yeah, it looks like you guys are going to be out of the severe weather regime. Let me actually... Yeah, you guys are going to be okay. Yeah, Drew, you don't have to worry about severe weather in Lincoln, Nebraska today. You will be definitely perfectly fine today for sure. So yeah, you don't have to worry about that. Definitely thank you for the question. Appreciate that. If you guys are enjoying the live stream, definitely hit that like button. And if you like the content, definitely subscribe to our channel as well. And share the information out there so that way it gets in the hands that need it the most. But yeah, Lincoln, Nebraska, you guys look pretty good for today at least. So that's definitely good news. There is one thing I want to check out because it sucks because unfortunately I switched to overnight, but it's definitely good. You know, it's the work's a little bit better. But take a look at this, guys. I might have to activate chase mode here about the north southeast corner of Nebraska, the far southeast corner. Yeah, I can take a look at that for you. Let me see here. Let's head there really quickly. Far southeast. So we'll go all the way to the southeast corner here. So you're actually looking pretty good so far. Yeah, I do believe there as well. So the far southeastern corner of Nebraska definitely looks pretty good. Let's actually check 9 a.m. this morning. .60 dew point. Yeah, so the far eastern corner, southeastern corner of Nebraska. So just check the sounding once again. So let's actually go here. There is a possibility for some storms here. Actually in the far southeastern corner of Nebraska later on today. So it's going to be around 10Z. So we're looking at about, let me see here. Let me make sure this is correct. 9 a.m. today. So, oh, sorry, not 10Z. My apologies for that. That was actually the model run. This is going to be right around, let me get that data back. Doesn't look very, at least intense there. This is about 16Z, so this is going to be right around 1 p.m. So there's definitely a chance of severe weather. It's marginal at that, so that's definitely good news for you guys. The temperature is going to be 75 degrees right around the 1 p.m. hour today. 61-degree dew point, so that's pretty juicy for an atmosphere. SRH is good to look at sometimes 97 SRH, but basically if we look at it too soon, it basically already assumes that a supercell is present, and obviously right now a supercell isn't present, but still it gives us indication. So 97 is relatively weak, but it's still there. The Cape value will be 2,272, so it's definitely going to be a very buoyant atmosphere. Unfortunately, the moisture is pretty shallow. And then we have a lot of dry air aloft as well. So it definitely looks like that dry air is definitely going to sort of inhibit supercell formation. All the issues that I think Nebraska is going to have is that we're going to have the low pressure center right over us, most likely late. Exactly. Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, unless a storm can actually anchor to that low pressure there, it's highly unlikely that you guys are going to experience like major severe weather storms, major severe weather there. It is certainly possible. You may see a rumble thunder or two, at least for now. It actually, it looks pretty good down there. So like I said, there's still a marginal severe risk. Let me see here. Let me just go back to the only thing that's a little bit concerning is that 83-degree temperature there with a 56-degree dew point. That's actually kind of concerning. That's right around 18Z. It's around 3 p.m. But other than that, unfortunately, if you do get any storms that develop there, you're definitely going to have some very large hail. It could possibly even be golf ball size or greater in that region to the southeast corner of Nebraska. So you have 2,075 Cape. Precipitable water is going to be about a little over half an inch. So definitely you'll get some classic supercell structure if any do develop. But it definitely looks like you're going to have non-supercell sort of thunderstorms there. So they probably going to be, if you do get a thunderstorm, it's probably going to be under severe limits today. So you're probably going to have wind gusts less than 58 miles per hour. If you get a wind gust, a gusty storm, it may reach 55, maybe 50 miles per hour, somewhere in that range. But yeah, I mean, for right now, it definitely doesn't look like it's going to be a big severe weather outbreak day in the southeastern corner of Nebraska. I definitely hope that answers your question there. Definitely appreciate the questions for sure. The photographs look very good. But it's really, once you get into Missouri here is definitely where you're going to have most of that severe weather. So definitely it's very interesting there. You can definitely see the difference in some of the actual data here. So let's actually go over a little bit. So you can see the Cape values are a lot higher down here, 3,158 joules per kilogram. And we could definitely have the potential for significant supercells to develop as well. And we do have a very good ventilation rate in the upper atmosphere. So it's definitely going to, these winds are definitely going to be able to carry the precipitation away from the actual main updraft itself, which is definitely going to sustain the updraft for prolonged periods of time. This is down here, sort of in west central Missouri here. So it's definitely a very interesting day for sure for them. So if you know anybody that lives down that way, definitely give them a heads up. Could definitely be a very strong tornadic day today. Definitely some supercells in the area. I'm curious to see. It actually looks like we're going to get a lot of streamwise vorticity in both the 0 to 1 kilometer range as well. I think the majority of it will be in southeast Iowa and northwest Missouri. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I definitely agree there. But yeah, definitely appreciate the questions. Definitely share this information out there to those that need it the most, guys. So I'm probably going to head to sleep in a little bit. I did work overnight last night. Actually, one more thing. As I was talking about before, I think I might. So unfortunately, like I said, I switched to overnight, so I really don't get much time during the day to do much. At least, in the Pittsburgh area, thunderstorms usually come in the late afternoon, the evening hours. So I'm going to try to activate chase mode on Wednesday. So it's definitely going to be a very interesting day. We almost have an enhanced risk in the Pittsburgh area, which is, very unheard of for our area at least. It's very, common in other areas of the country, but for the Pittsburgh area, it's pretty unheard of. We have a slight risk, but the enhanced risk is just off to the west along the Ohio-West Virginia border here. So it's definitely interesting to look into. Definitely want to look at some of the models here as well. I can take a look at the North American model here. Definitely want to go into Wednesday for sure. Very curious. Some of these storms, I think they're going to come in too late for me to chase, unfortunately, because I'll already be at work. I might have to go into work an hour or two late, to be honest, because I'd rather be out chasing than be at work. I'm a storm chaser at heart. I absolutely love storm chasing. So the Pittsburgh area, definitely marginal tornado. That's definitely awesome. So 73-degree temperature with a 59-degree dew point. That's very juicy for the Pittsburgh area. Photograph definitely looking pretty good here. Let me actually show you guys some of this. So let's actually paste that in there. There we go. We can get rid of this. Alright, so let's see how much streamwise vorticity we're going to have in the lower levels here. So right mover there. Unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be sort of crosswise at the surface. Let's check 1 kilometer here. 1 kilometer actually looks pretty good. We're going to have some almost pure streamwise vorticity at 1 kilometer. So we're definitely going to have some mesocyclones definitely forming. And it does look like at the 6 kilometer, we're going to have almost 60 knots at 6 kilometers. So that's actually pretty good. It's a nice ventilation rate. So it's definitely possible that the thunderstorms that do develop in the Pittsburgh area are going to keep the rain or precipitation out of the updrafts. So that's definitely pretty good. Cape value is a little on the low side, about 350. But yeah, it's definitely possible. SRH is at 307. So it's definitely possible. We could definitely see some supercell storms here in the Pittsburgh area. Dang, especially at the 6Z. Fortunately, that's 3 a.m. So 70-degree temperature with a 60-degree dew point. That's freaking perfect. We're definitely going to have possibly some large hail here in the Pittsburgh area. So definitely $half size hail or so. Maybe larger. We are going to have that crosswise vorticity at the surface. 1 kilometer though. Pretty streamwise at 1 kilometer. So that's definitely going to be good for mesocyclones. So it's definitely going to be interesting. Man, it almost makes me not want to go into work, but unfortunately I cannot miss a day right now. I definitely can't afford to miss a day at work, unfortunately. I definitely need all the money I can get, especially for the upcoming things I have going on. I definitely need to do a little upgrades to the office here. Definitely want to get a faster computer for sure. That way I can have these presentations run a little bit more smoothly. But definitely gonna hop off of here really quick. Just to reiterate here. So we do have that bimodal moderate risk today. So we're gonna have to watch this very carefully. Let's go back to the national outlook here. So we have bimodal risk. So basically it means we have a two-pronged risk today. We have one across Iowa, Illinois, and Missouri, and possibly southern Wisconsin, and down through south central Missouri, down through central and western Arkansas into portions of extreme eastern Oklahoma, southeastern Oklahoma. So definitely be on the lookout for thunderstorms today, guys. It's definitely going to be very, very intense, especially the probability for long track tornadoes as well. Unfortunately, right around the Iowa City area, down through just to the west of Little Rock as well. So definitely be on the lookout for that, guys. Definitely appreciate you joining me, and always remember, never stop chasing.